What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you about SoFi. Absolutely amazing day. I want to break it down on what's causing it, is it justified, and everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi is up 2.84%, 1310 the low, 1349 the high. There's roughly around an hour left in the trading day on a side note, but you are seeing somewhat low volume. So 43.3 million shares being traded, 63.9 is the average. And it's not just SoFi. Pretty much a lot of other stocks out there are having a little bit on the low end. So there is some level of hesitation, but early on in the day, you did have a deal that was set with the UK. And I think the market kind of knew that already, didn't know the actual specifics, but I think we kind of narrowed it down to either Japan or the UK. So I think that's kind of a good thing throughout the day. Trump's been really hyping up that deal, but he also at the same time did come out and just say, better go out and buy stocks now. So I think the broader market kind of learned their lesson. Last time Trump said that, hey, you might want to buy now, market went up like crazy, like 20%. I don't think I've ever seen that ever happen in the market, ever since I started investing in 2009. But at the end of the day, this could be another precursor for what might be coming and more deals down the line. So let me know your thoughts on that. But like I said, with today's little bit lower volume, not just with SoFi, but pretty much across the board, there is a certain level of hesitation. So maybe big money is not really buying into this. So what's your viewpoint on that? At the same time, there could be some level of hesitation because of this. So tomorrow, starting pretty much at 5 a.m. all the way to 6 p.m., you have Fed speakers galore. And they could be piggybacking pretty much off of Powell's somewhat negativity, kind of really talking down on the tariffs, what that will mean for the kind of labor market, monetary policy, everything. So that could be some reason why institutions are waiting on the sideline just to pretty much get the green light. If we don't have doomsday kind of talks tomorrow, then most likely that is going to really result in pretty much Trump's plan coming to fruition, having just the market go up like crazy. Today, no actual news from SoFi, no SEC filings, but then again, I think the two PRs that they put out yesterday were pretty A-okay if you ask me. So let me know your viewpoint on that. When it comes to shorts, they are increasing 766,000 shares. Similar to the level of hesitation from institutions buying today, they're piggybacking off of that fear and the grayness. So they are increasing today. 13.71% of the free floats being shorted works out to be 148 million shares. And so today is kind of a trend breaker, if that makes sense. So shorts have been returning pretty much since the peak of 13.85 on April the 29th. So they've been returning pretty much consecutive throughout that. So today they're really breaking the trend, which is kind of ironic, the day that we actually do get a tariff deal. And as well, Trump coming out with that comment, shorts decide to really pounce, which is kind of odd, but let me know your thoughts on that. But aside from all that fun stuff, looking at the options, 10 million in calls, 2.83 in puts, 52% of all the options being done are bullish in nature. And so you see a little bit lower on the volume front. So right now, 13.4 million in total premiums. Most likely it's going to settle roughly around that 15. And then you had 12 yesterday, 10 the day before. So it's okay for the overall volume. Put/call ratio does indicate that there's a little bit more upside on a side note. So this column right here, but based on the bulls, you are seeing a consensus for it to be roughly around that $14 range, $13.50 to $14. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub $11.50. With tomorrow being Friday, just take note of some of the kind of heavy walls for the open interest. So at that 13, you have 19,000, 13.50 of 21, and then at the 14, you have 17. So potentially, if SoFi does get close to that 13.50 or 14 by close of business tomorrow, close to power hour, anticipate shorts to be fairly active. And maybe that again could be one reason why shorts are increasing today, just to kind of lay the foundation for further manipulation tomorrow. We've seen crazier things happen with SoFi, but Aside from all that fun stuff though, these are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. And this is a very clear indication that there is some hesitation going on. Based on the bid, the ask, and the selling price, pretty much majority of these are actually sells. So big money is not really lining up to buy up SoFi or buy up the market. Rather, they're actually selling. So definitely show some level of hesitation. These are all the transactions on the dark pool. So no real transactions above 1 million. Actually, sorry, I kind of misspoke. There's one right here, 1.22. But aside from that, it's pretty much low amount of kind of dollar value for this. So algorithmic trading is in full force. So I think that's one of the main culprits of where the volume is coming from. With it right now at 1344, trading right between this R1 and the pivot. 1187 is going to be a strong support. I don't see that being touched this week, and most likely not even next week, I don't see. But 1413 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. And if we get some good momentum, you could see that being potentially touched. But I feel like if we do get to that $14 range tomorrow, this is where shorts will really increase their position to ensure that it does close below that $14 strike price. Again, we've seen that time and time again happen all the time. So let me know your viewpoint on that. Aside from that, no real substantial articles coming out, just motley fools saying that why they're buying SoFi hand over fist, and this one SoFi is down, but is it out? Honestly, they just bring up the technical, so there's not really new information exactly. So let me know your viewpoint. And then there's no new analyst ratings on the side note, so still I find that odd. And I think SoFi, out of any stock that I ever do cover and really do more deeper dives into, like, I've never seen the level of analysts that give ratings prior to any earnings except SoFi. It's just, I don't know why. They feel that maybe they are trying to manipulate it or something, but there's still a hell of a lot of analysts that have not given ratings, which is again equally as weird. But on the actual chart itself, so it is successfully above that 50-day moving average, and I felt that today was going to be a big day to either for it to retest that 50-day moving average or potentially move higher. Elliott wave technicals, as I've been kind of mentioning, is anticipating for it to get to that $15 to $17 range, so insinuating pretty much new highs. So that would mean for tomorrow a test of possibly that 100-day moving average, and that is sitting right here at 1386. So right now it is above the ALMA, so it's starting to build some good momentum. Most likely it'll kind of touch that early tomorrow, assuming Armageddon doesn't happen or some crazy stuff. But yeah, it's a fun time to be a SoFi investor. My calls that I did buy several weeks ago are finally fully green. So yeah, I think that's pretty good stuff. So this is why it's advantageous when there is mass panic in the market, when there's a lot of blood, to buy the dip and just trust your gut. Stick to good stocks that you like, profitable companies, and I get it. SoFi isn't the most innovative company. That's one of the biggest negatives of it, but it's a moneymaker. And in times of distress, whether that happens and we have another retest of lows again, SoFi is going to fare a little bit better than other fintechs. So let me know your thoughts on SoFi. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And then one final thing, pop over to my Discord, completely free. A lot of good people talking about stocks, options, crypto, everything that you need in life. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.